This is a guided practice video. The topic is order of operations, and these are harder problems. Let's get started. Our first problem is 2 times 7 minus 3 divided by 3. Go ahead and hit pause if you need more time. Alright, let's get started. The order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So let's see here. I've got a multiply, a subtract, and a divide. According to the order of operations, going down I see multiply comes first. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply 2 times 7, and that gives me 14. Everything else comes down. Alright, so I still have subtract and I still have divide. Looking at order of operations, I see the divide comes next. So I'm going to do negative 3 divided by 3. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. And there it is, my subtraction. The last thing I do, subtraction, 14 minus 1 is 13. Now, I use letters. That's only because we're working on this. When I really perform mathematics, I don't label the operations that are happening. And I don't expect you to either. But it helps while we're learning it to have that extra step in there. Here's our next problem. 10 minus 6 divided by 2 plus 7. Go ahead and hit pause if you need more time. Alright, here we go. My order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. My operations I'm using are subtraction, division, and addition. Let's see, it looks like division is the first thing on my order of operations. So the first thing I'm going to do is take negative 6 and divide it by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Everything else just comes down. I have 10 and I have plus 7. I still have subtraction and I still have addition. Looking at the order of operations, it looks like addition is next. So I'm going to do negative 3 plus 7. Negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4. So I'm left with 10 plus 4. We know that that's addition. We know that's the only operation left. And 10 plus 4 is 14. So that's the answer. Here's our next problem. Negative 30 minus 30 times 2 divide by 2. Go ahead and hit pause if you need more time. My order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. The operations being used in this problem are subtraction, multiplication, and division. Looking at my order of operations, it looks like multiplication comes first. So I'm going to take negative 30 and multiply it by 2. Negative 30 times 2 is negative 60. And everything else just comes down. Now my operations are subtraction and division. According to order of operations, division comes next. So I'm going to take negative 60 and divide it by 2. Well, negative 60 divided by 2 is negative 30. And everything else comes down. You can see my last operation is subtraction. So I do negative 30 minus 30, which is negative 60. And that's the answer. Here's our next problem. 14 plus 28 divided by 2 times 2. Go ahead and hit pause if you need more time. Okay, my order of operations is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Let's go ahead and label all the operations that are happening. I've got addition, division, and multiplication. This looks similar to the problem we just did. Let's see how it works out. Multiplication is going to come first on my order of operations. When I do 2 times 2, I get 4. And everything else comes down. 14 plus 28 divided by 4. My operations that I'm using are addition and, not subtraction, addition and division. According to order of operations, division comes next. So I do 28 divided by 4. Well, that's 7. And everything else comes down. 14 plus 7. Well, that's obviously addition. That's the only operation, so that's what comes next. 14 plus 7 is 21. And that's the answer. Here's our last problem. Negative 16 divided by 4 times 2 plus 2. Go ahead and hit pause if you need more time. Okay, my order of operations are parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And let's label my operations here. I've got division, multiplication, and addition. Well, what comes first? When I look at order of operations, multiplication is the first thing. So I take 4 times 2, which is 8. And everything else comes down. The operations I'm using now are division and addition. Well, it looks like division comes next. So I take negative 16 and I divide it by 8, which is negative 2. And everything else comes down. So now I have negative 2 plus 2. Well, we can do that. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. And that's the answer. Once again, while you're solving these problems, you do not need to learn to show your work this exact with the labeling of operations. This is something that it is assumed you know how to do. You're welcome to show your work this way if it helps you, but you'll eventually find that that takes more time than you need because you've just learned the order of operations and that's how you naturally work.